Hi, I'm on my ball. We're going to do a short practice using the birthing ball or exercise ball, and just to get the body moving a little bit and a bit of comfort. So you can enjoy this any point of your pregnancy, I would think. It's going to be particularly good nearer the end. Um, so we're going to move, get a bit into each part of the body, move in a way that feels right for you today. Bear in mind how everything's feeling, how the body's changing and growing, and yeah, enjoy. So come to sit. Make sure you've got maybe a wall or a sofa or something not too far away from your ball. We're going to be rolling it a little bit as part of the class. And yeah, make sure it feels comfortable for you the way it's blowing up. So if it's too hard, then you kind of feel a little bit unsafe. If you're too high, if the ball's too big, you're not going to get your feet firmly on the floor. But you also don't want it so soft that you feel like you're not really being supported. So yeah, play about with how firm it is for you. But I'm just starting with my feet placed firmly on the ground and sitting on it. The ball's moving freely, which is good. So the other thing to think about is how things are going for you in your pregnancy. If you're having pelvic girdle discomfort or anything going on in the pelvis, you're going to try and keep your feet hip width apart. That's going to be more comfortable for you. So when I'm taking the legs wider in the practice, you're going to keep them, imagine your feet, knees directly in front of your hips. It's going to be more comfortable in your pelvis for you. But I'll speak about that as we go. So, but for me, I'm not pregnant. Yeah, it's this wide position. So if that's comfortable for you today, go ahead. And you're trying to sit upright as possible. Maybe you can sense the sit bones pushing down into the ball. And you can either have the hands leaning so you're feeling supported with the hands on the knees and you're leaning slightly forward, or maybe you're resting hands on the hips or hands on your belly, whatever works for you. So start by finding a bit of relaxation in the shoulders and the face, and we're just making gentle circles. Yeah, I can't help but move while I'm on this anyway. So moving one way and then the other, allowing your pelvis to rock and roll a little bit. Maybe it's rocking back and forth. Feels okay for you. And maybe just swinging from side to side feels a little bit better. Again, if you feel a little bit unsafe on the movement of the ball, you'll be next to the wall with your fingertips just there, feeling that bit of safety, something to grab onto. So allow your eyes to close or your gaze just to drop to a point, and just begin by focusing on your breath and allowing a deep inhale and a full exhale. And maybe allow yourself to become still now. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, allow your face to relax, your shoulders to relax, and relax your hands and fingers. Taking a deep inhale. Notice the chest move, the ribs expand. Exhale everything out, allowing a little bit of what you're gripping onto to relax. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. So we're going to start to move. So getting into our sides and our shoulders. Inhale, reaching out and up. Big reach up through the fingertips. So it's more of an out than a together to begin with, and reaching it back down. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Maybe lifting the gaze if that's okay for your balance. Exhale, reaching it down. Reaching out through the fingertips, bringing the shoulders down. Inhale. Lift. This time we're going to interlace the fingers at the top, pushing the palms up and away, and taking another breath there. Try not to hold on to your breath at any time. And then as you exhale, we're going to tip, slightly bend over to one side, and release the arms and the shoulders down, giving it a little bit of a shake. Inhale, sweeping it out and up. Interlace the fingers again, pushing the palms up and away, allowing that breath and the shoulders to bring back down if you can, and bring your side bend to the other side. So as you do, you can move through the ball as well, if that feels okay for your balance and stability, and release it down. Taking a few shoulder circles. Fingertips can come to the shoulders as we roll it back. Steady with the breath and bring it forward. So as you come forward, you may be taking the elbows closer together. Yes, whatever works for you. And release. Okay, taking a first twist. So taking one hand behind, the fingertips can be on the ball, and just turn to your side. Maybe lifting the opposite arm up, finding a little bit of a side stretch as you turn slightly to the side. And release it down. And come in the other side. One hand to the ball or to the hip. Opposite hand could be in front or to the other leg. Sitting tall, spiraling round as you breathe. Gaze can be down or behind. Inhale, sweeping that arm up and over a little bit so you find a slight side bend as well as the twist. And release. Bring the arms wide. And we're going to cross over at the elbows if you can, and bring your hands to your shoulders and drop the chin towards the chest. Keep the elbows lifting and round the back a little bit, so possibly get a little or a lot of roundness there as you tuck and roll forward. As you inhale, take a big reach back, pulling the elbows back, elbows are at shoulder height, and drawing the arms so back. So I'm pushing towards the wall behind me. Exhale, round in the top upper back as you cross over again. Maybe you can put other elbow on top this time. Chin tucks in. So no holding your breath. I'm doing this for about 2 or 3 breaths for each move. Inhale, expand. Pulling the elbows back, maybe dropping them down a little bit, finding that movement and openness across the front of the chest. Exhale round, last one. And then inhale, open. And then if it feels okay for you, you can either keep the arms here or bring the hands down behind the back, interlace and lift through the chest. Maybe lift the gaze now. And release. Give it a little shake. So we're going to go into those hip circles again. So I'm leaning my hands onto my knees. You could take the hands to the hips. And in fact, if you do take your hands to the hips, you can feel a little bit more of the movement through the pelvis rather than just the legs. The ball's quite noisy. And move it off to the other way. You might like to have some nice music on when you're starting to work into these little exercises. And as you become more accustomed, you don't have to have the video on with me. You listen to your own music and move on your ball. Okay, we're going to come to stand up now. So this is when you might bring the ball towards a wall, or for me it's going to go towards the bolster, or towards a sofa or a bed or whatever feels good for you. We're going to start by placing the hands onto the ball and standing behind it. The knees are soft, and I'm going to ask you to allow your hips to swing back and up, and belly can hang down. So we'll start with a slight cat-cow movement. You're keeping your knees really quite bent here. And then inhale, draw the ball in a little bit as you lift your chest. And then as you exhale, you're drawing your chest up and away from the ball. Tuck the head and the chin in towards your chest, and maybe push the ball slightly away. Inhale, coming forward, lifting the chest, hip bones sitting back and up. And exhale, rounding the back a little and pushing the ball away. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, rolling it back. And then we're going to come a little bit deeper into a little bit of a movement forward and back. So think, as you push the ball, roll the ball away from you, you're squatting back, sending the hips back, and then inhale to stand up. Exhale, squatting back, pushing the sit bones back, and as you inhale, standing up. Exhale, rolling the ball away, sending the hips back, maybe coming a little deeper. It all depends on how much movement you feel you have today. And exhale, pushing it back. So as you breathe here, taking a nice steady inhale through the nose, shoulders are rolling back as you stand. And as you exhale, maybe blow that exhale out as you sit back and down. Feet are parallel but slightly wider than your hips, and you're bending deeply into your knees. Sending the hips back, strong and steady with your movement. Drop the head between the arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Squat away. One more like this. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, rolling it back. So this time we're going to hold. So find a position that feels okay for you. I like the wrists pushing down into the mat. You might prefer the ball. You might prefer to come onto the elbows. Drop the head in as you send your hips back. And maybe here as well, allow a little wiggle. When you're ready, bend a little deeper into the legs. Draw the ball back to help you come up to stand. Okay. So we're going to add in a little bit more standing position now. This time we're going to go for our intense stretch or pyramid pose. So again, you might want to put the ball against something so it can't roll away too much, or have it just in front of something so when you roll it away, it's got a stopping point so that you feel nice and safe. And the other thing, if you're feeling a bit of compression in your wrists, you can use your fists onto the ball if that feels more comfortable for you. But we're going to step our right leg back, keeping the left leg forward. Feet are still slightly wider than your hips, directly in front of your hips if you're any discomfort in the pelvis. And we're keeping both legs straight. And then from here, I want you to think about drawing this left hip back a little bit further, keeping both feet pushing firmly down, and you're drawing your chest further forward over the ball, or rolling the ball away from you. Again, you could start this with some movement. So inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, pushing away. Inhale, standing tall. Exhale, push away. One more to stand up. Inhale, shoulders rolling down the back. Exhale, and sink into your supported pyramid. So again, here you could be on your elbows, but I quite like to push this one away a little bit further and keep the legs engaged. Thighs are engaged, feet are pushing firmly down into the floor. There's weight coming into the heels of both feet. Drawing that left hip back, right hip twisting forward. So this is a very intense stretch on the front leg and into the shoulders. So just be mindful that it's right for you today. On your next inhale, soften the front knee, rolling the ball in, and step it forward with the right leg. So from here, take the feet really quite a bit wider than your mat possibly, and we're going to start to swing a little bit side to side. So rocking into one leg and then the other, bending into the ankles, bending the knees, and swinging the hips and the body from side to side. On your next inhale, standing a little bit taller and step the feet in again. So this time we're stepping back with the opposite leg. So step back with your left leg. So keeping that step back, it's not too far, and feet are still pointing forward, slightly wider than your hips, and both legs straight. And then to start, maybe have a little wiggle, find the position that feels right for you. But try and pull that right hip back and the left hip's coming forward so that the pelvis isn't twisted over to the side. Pushing firmly down into the legs, rolling forward and back, or standing steady if that's good for you. Inhale to stand tall. Exhale, pushing that right hip back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, roll the ball away. Inhale and exhale. One more, standing tall, steady, pushing firmly into the feet. And then you're finding your position to settle into. So you might not be as low as I am. You might just push the ball away a little bit. Hands are on your shoulders, still higher than your hips. Yeah, that's still really good for your legs and your lower back. Pulling that right hip back, keeping that length in both legs, keeping the feet driving down. And breath, lovely and steady. And release, standing tall. Okay, we're going to go back into the squat roll, for want of a better term. So this was when we had the feet parallel, but slightly wider on the hips. And as we sat back and down, just as low as the belly will allow, we're pushing the ball away. And this time we're going to try and push it off to the side. So we're taking a little twist as we push away to the left, standing tall, and push away to the right. Getting a little bit into the side of the body now, and twisting away, sending the hips to the other side. If this feels a little bit uncoordinated for you, you can just continue to go forward and back. One more to each side, twisting away, and again. And release to stand. Okay, so we're going to come to sitting it again, and take ourselves into a warrior and side bend, side extension type poses. Again, if this is too much for your pelvis today, you're going to keep the legs together and work on the length and the side of the body through lifting up, working the arms, side of the torso. But if you're comfortable where you are, thinking about taking your left leg out to straight and your right leg is in a lunge shape. But rather than when we do this standing, the legs aren't forward, you've got the lunge off to the side, leg out to the side. Kind of need to have your bottom sticking out and back for this to work seated on a ball. So the feet are forward from your hips rather than being in line with your hips. Shoulders rolling down the back, reaching through the arms. And then from here, think about that. Lift through the side of the body, releasing the shoulders down, gazing over the side. Keep reaching over to that right side. For me, the hand comes to the knee or to the forearm comes down and the arm reaches up and over. So adding a little bit of movement in for the arm and the shoulder, sweeping the arm round the side of the body, lifting up. And making a big circle with the arm. You could keep the arm steady, keep the gaze down if that feels better for you. It sometimes feels better for balance. Last one, lifting up. And again, maybe you're upright and releasing that arm round the back. We're going to change sides, turning the left leg out now and turn the right leg so that the heel's pushing out, the legs straight, feet are in front of the ball by quite a bit. Shoulders rolling up, back and down, reaching through the arms. For our seated warrior two. Inhale, reaching over that side forearm or hand to the top of the knee, top arm reaching over. So holding it steady is always a good option. You also might like to have the arm resting around your lower back, shoulder turning back. Might feel better for you today. Inhale, sweeping it into big circles if that is your bag. Moving gently with your breath. Last one, reaching forward. And exhale, bringing it back to the center. Heel toe the feet together a little bit. Just watch when you're on the ball, you're not rolling away too much. And we'll just start to go into circles again. So see if you can, as you're going, I'm turning so you can see what I'm up to, articulate, for want of a better word, through the pelvis so that you're getting, or through the lower spine and your hip joints, so that you're getting that rolling motion through the pelvis as much as possible. So sometimes the easiest way to think about this is to push your sit bones down into the ball and roll them around. So you're pushing them out to one side, pushing them forward to the other side, and then sticking them out behind. Kind of starts to get that rolling motion. Some of you might, be proper dancing there on your ball. Whatever feels good, the more you can loosen up round about the pelvis, it helps as it starts to broaden and change shape. Yeah, it's always good. Okay, keeping the feet, turning again so you can see what I'm up to. Feet are slightly turned out. Now we're going to come into sort of a wide leg forward fold version, supported squat, same kind of action. Chest lifted, hands can be on the hips, roll the shoulders down the back to begin. So your toes are turned out, knees are going in the same direction as your toes. You've got this wide angle. And then from here, keeping the left hand to the inside of the knee, we're going to take a seated twist to begin. Nice and steady with your breath, steady with your gaze. And release to the front. And taking it to the other side. So right hand to the inside of the right knee, you're encouraging that knee out, but also pushing the knee back in as you twist. So we've created slight tension between the two. You don't have to, it just encourages that little bit of connection and stretch and release. Allow your hands to come onto the knees and allow yourself to hang forward. You might again want to roll back and forth, find the position that feels best for you. This is also quite nice to do in front of a wall or a chair or sofa when you can have your hands forward and allow yourself to hang forward and down. I'll try and show you against the wall. What I mean by that is you'd be in front of something with the hands on it so that you can lean forward and into it and allow your body to hang forward and down as you do. It's a really quite nice position to be in. So from there, coming back up a little bit, and we're going to take a couple more twists. So taking the hands back to the knees, inhale, lift the chest, exhale, twist through the shoulders. So think about the right shoulder coming towards the left knee and then allowing yourself to just drop as much as your body will allow and taking a breath. This might feel like quite an intense twist, so just don't force any of the movements. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, take the twist to the other side. So think about rolling the left shoulder forward and down, pulling the right shoulder back, and then it's a drop towards the center. And then release and bring it back up. Okay, I'm going to come down onto my knees and I'm going to use the bolster and the ball again. So this time, I'm not using the bolster yet actually. I'm going to come onto my knees in front of the ball, and so very similar to how we started standing. This is going to be a version of our child's pose, but rolling the ball away. So if you need to, put some cushioning or blanket underneath your knees, and knees are hip width apart, and your heels as wide as your knees or slightly wider. So as we push the hips back, rather than thinking about sitting down towards your heels, I want you to think about sit bones going back and out. So as you sit back, send your hips back, think bottom up, and then coming back in. So this, see how comfortable it feels for you in your hips. You might have to have the knees a little bit closer together. The toes can be tucked or can be loose. It's going to be more comfortable without them tucked. Just depends which stage of your pregnancy you're at. So the more you come forward and drop into the shoulders, the bigger stretch is going to be in the arms and the shoulders. The more you send your hips back rather than coming forward, the more you're getting into the hips and the pelvis. So it's quite nice as well to sit into your squat and then go for a few rocks, allowing your belly to hang. Maybe the forehead rests on the ball and you're rocking and rolling side to side. Carefully coming up, bring the knees together, almost to touch, not quite, just so that they're directly underneath your hip bones. And we're going to step the right foot forward next to the ball for a few lunges. So depending how you're feeling again in the pelvis, if you are experiencing pelvic girdle pain or discomfort, yeah, you're going to keep this on your knees and work on the roll forward and back in the child's pose position. The lunges are not going to be comfortable for you. But they are really good to get into opening up round about the hips, opening up into the lower back, and they're great for preparing for birth. So I'm just thinking about hips coming forward rather than me rocking down. But it's quite nice to use the ball to support you as you come forward so you can keep the chest lifted and the shoulders down. So finding position that feels good for you as you come forward. Again, yeah, watch how this feels on your knees. You can adjust your position at any time and release. Okay, so by release, coming back over the left knee again. I'm going to turn my right leg out to the side, toes pointing forward, legs straight, and chest lifted. And instead of going forward, I'm going to send my hips back as I lean forward onto the ball. So it's very similar action again. This rolling back and forth as you send your hips back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pushing it back. Inhale, lift. Exhale. So any of these poses you can stay with, do them longer, hold into them, and work into the breath. Okay, sideways. So again, turning the knee out to the side. Maybe you're leaning onto that side as you roll side and back. So I'm using the ball as a little bit of support, but I'm also taking my hand onto the knee as I come over to that side. As I'm holding. Encourage that knee out a little bit. Just don't force any flexibility. This is not the time to be trying to get more flexible. It's the time to just be working into what you've got. Okay, and release. Taking it into the other side, we'll go through that little set of lunges, coming into the forward and back to begin. So you can even bring the ball further over in front of the right hip so you've got a bit more space for your left leg. You want it almost directly in front of your hip because we're going to do the out to the side anyway. So again, you could stay upright, pushing the right hip forward a little bit and rock it back. Pushing it forward a little and bringing it back. Or for some of you, coming forward quite a lot is going to feel good. Just watch you're not dumping into your lower back and it all being about this lower back bend. Don't want that too much. Body's doing that anyway. And bring it out to the side again. Okay, so we're going to move it out to the side. I'm going to move my ball around this way and come out this way so you know that I'm on the right knee, the legs out behind, left leg's coming out to the side, and I've got the ball in front of me for support. And we're going to start with this sit back. So I'll show you without the ball so it's not in the way. It's moving the hips back. So the hips are coming back over the heels as you come into that stretch on the inside of the left leg, pushing it back, sitting down. For some of you, this is going to feel good with the hands on the floor. Yeah, but I do like the ball. So the ball's pushing away as you're sinking the hips back. And as you're doing that, it's encouraging a stretch in the back and the shoulders at the same time. And the more you push, keeping the body upright, the hips are still high and going back. And release. Turning the left leg out to the side. So we've now got the lunge to the left and taking it into that side lunge. Yeah. So for some of you, coming into the side lunge and rocking back and forward, not going to feel good. So hold steady, stand tall, maybe back off from it a little bit, and then come to your extension. For some, yeah, come into that sideways movement is going to feel good for you. Being mindful as you go with each movement, still keeping the focus on the breath. This is not about getting more flexible today. This is just about moving well. And release. Okay, last little set of child pose, rocks for a term. So knees slightly closer than your calves or your heels, and it's the bottom back and out and coming back in. So that might, so you're sending your hips back but not curving down. You're trying to stick the bottom back and out, and then maybe hang forward into a version of supported child's pose. And again, a little bit more rocking from side to side. Might feel good for you to release through the back of the hips. Okay, I'm going to come into a supported version of this child's pose. I've got my rebozo scarf, which I'm going to just drape over the ball, just because it makes it a little bit warmer and more comfortable. They're a bit rubbery, so not the most comfortable. And I'm also going to sit on my bolster. So bolster in front, I'm on my knees, depending on how much space you've got. You might need to be right on the front of the bolster, most of it sticking out behind. And again, think about how close you are to birth. If you are not far from when you might be in labour, think about the heels being slightly wider. For some of you, earlier in your pregnancy, you might prefer to have the knees wider and the heels together, but yeah. And you're going to allow yourself to hug and be supported on your ball. So you might allow it to hug it in really close and drop the head on, or if you're enjoying the shoulder stretch, you're going to roll it further away so that the arms are more supported and the head is on. So you want to rest your forehead down as well. So that little pressure on the forehead begins to help you relax. So which is why it's quite nice when you're relaxing to maybe have an eye pillow slightly heavy on your face. Feels really nice. Or to rest your head on the back of the hands or onto a bolster or onto a ball or cushion, whatever you're lying on. So and then here we're going to start to go into a breath and relaxation. At any time, if you need to, you're going to adjust and move. But where possible, start to think about the breath. Allow yourself to become soft and heavy. Allow yourself to become still. Be aware of yourself resting in this space, however you're supported. At any time, if you need to, you're going to move and change position. Being aware of your breath now and the sensations with that. Each inhale, each exhale, the sound, how it feels. And we're going to start to deepen it. And allowing a big sigh out on your next exhale. And then draw a fresh inhale in. Exhale, release. Inhale, expand. Exhale, relax and let go. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. As you lengthen each breath, try not to force too much. Just draw in a big breath in for you, in through the nose if you can. And sigh your breath out, making your face as relaxed as possible. Relax your shoulders, your hands and your fingers as you do. Inhale deeply. Exhale long and slow and comfortable. Inhale. Exhale, release. Relax your legs, your hips. Relax your belly. No holding on. Relax your back, your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Relax your neck, your throat, your jaw, your face, your brow, your head, your whole body. Your whole body relaxes. Your whole body is calm. And when your mind starts to wander and tell you little stories, allow that to pass and keep your attention on your breath. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in, breathing out. So continue like this for as long as you need. Focusing on your breath, making each exhale long and soft. And when you are ready to wake up and move, you'll deepen your inhales. Maybe taking a deep inhale and then a big sigh. And maybe stay a little longer, or then on each inhale, begin to move more. When you're on the ball, it's easy. You can start to rock from side to side. Deepening each inhale helps you wake up. And when you do start to move, go gentle with yourself. Move in a way that feels intuitive and right for you. get up and move and go about your day, or rest longer.